Good morning, Rabbi Motsei. Today is a very big day for me. I'm 50 years old. My Hebrew birthday today. Is it 2 month? I have to hold this? Wow. Oh, day 1129 it says on here. Nothing to do with the birthday. This is my streak. Okay, we got it. This is for the guests. What do I do with this? Here, come, Tzaddik.
Take a bite straight out.
Wow, it's beautiful. Shkoyach, thank you. This is for you, Yossi. You see? Okay, shkoyach. Hold two hands. First of all, I want to give a kars hatoiv to the Rebbeinu Shloim. Baruch shechiyanu v'kiyimanu v'giyanu la'azman hazeh. I lived so far 1 year more than my own mother, Leah Shalom, so I don't take a single day for granted. Life is very precious, and the Stipler says that, and I mentioned this a number of times, the reason why we have white hair is to remind us that we don't live forever. You start getting gray and a little bit more gray, then the knees stop working so well, and the body you stop playing basketball, you can't do this, you can't do that. It's tudvei, it's krachts over here, over there. There's no bigger simon than when you turn 50. You remember when you're younger, that alta, you know what, the 50-year-old, Hashem Yirachem. So it's a wake-up call, and Be'ezer Hashem, I have to take upon myself to be mischazik and add a little bit more learning to my day, a little bit more chesed, a little bit more avodah. And also it's an opportunity, they say, there's a minute to give a bracha on the birthday, especially 50, it's a big one. So I want to give the whole olam, and anybody that's watching should have a life of simcha through avodas habayra, torah, avodah, chesed, nachas from the kinder, gesund, parnasa berevach, chaim arukim, shkoyach. Thank you. It's been a long 2 months of celebrating. It started out in Kenya on a safari, and every other day is another celebration. I hope this is it, Rabbi Isai. I can't do this any longer. I'll see you at 60 Be'ezer Hashem. All right. So real quickly, first of all, I want to say Shalom Aleichem to the new group. That's Be'ezer Hashem. I think Yerushalayim. I don't know for sure. Are they on Zoom right now? In Rechavia. I don't see Benny, so they're probably there. So Shalom Aleichem. They're there. I don't know if you can show them. They'll be gevaldik. Meanwhile, there's a few. Where's Benny? Benny. Shalom Aleichem, Benny. All right. Where is this? Kal Chasidim -1. All right. Shkoyach. So, should go from Chayil Chayil. Here we have an email from Ezra Abrams. That's Hillel's brother from Australia. He's been with us for 4 years. He says, I hope to see you shortly in person. Hanukkah. It's the holidays over there in Australia. And then he understood that I said that we're doing the very first satellite location. He thought I meant in the world ever. And I'm talking about MDY. He says, look, we've been doing it since 1997 when satellite came out and we're doing different shiurim. I get it. We haven't been around since 97. I don't know if I was alive then. Hope to see you soon. Shiur member since Chulin Chav Gimel. He remembers Chulin Chav Gimel. Yes, 4 years ago, from before you were famous. Kind regards, Ezra Abrams from Australia. And real quickly, I just want to show you real quickly what it looks like to have a status. So a lot of people here who have WhatsApp, they don't even know what status looks like. This is on your WhatsApp, and this is a 30-second clip of this person, Dovi Schwartzmer, status. It goes through pictures every few seconds. Good morning, Rabbi in the sand. Appreciate the Join Daf Yomi. Bekitzer, anything to inspire somebody else to join. On the bottom it says how many people saw it already, because it only says 6 over there. Nedarim part 2 starting tomorrow, which is today. Rabbi Sai, you could still try to bring your friends. I want to give you shkoyach to Tomer Levi. I'm sure that he had everything to do with this. I guess. Is there anybody else? Not you. No, not him. What is this Tomer? What are we looking at here? This piece of art. As Gershon? Gershon did it? Oh, Yoshi. These are pictures of what? What are they? Throughout the years? Shiur throughout the years? I see some of them in my house. Some of them. Is it chanicha? I don't see chanicha anywhere. Somewhere. And the bottom is what? A pool? We're in the Beis HaMerchatz? Yama Torah. Okay. Real quickly. Oh, the first picture. I didn't put it on. You put this here. I'll show it because you want me to show it. I'm not, whatever. Shkoyach, cover my birthday. Yosef Biliak put this in my slides here. Nothing to do with me. I want to mention real quickly, yesterday, I said that we have just a few more days left to sponsor the Miami Siyum. And there were 3 people here from Miami. 2 of them came over to me after this year and they said they want to donate $10,000 towards the Siyum. Michael Citron and Eli Kopelman, $10,000. So Be'ezer Hashem, we're getting closer to the goal of helping people join for a... Also, I said as a joke the other day, but even though it was a joke, it obviously brings back a lot of harsh memories, trauma from Cheder when you were a kid. So somebody, Gershon Rose, did this in Manchester. Here, check this out. I'm not going to show the whole thing because it gets a little boring.
You're going to go to Gehenna.
You're going to go to Gehenna.
You're going to go to Gehenna.
You're going to go to Gehenna. You're going to go to Gehenna. You're going to go to Gehenna. You're going to go to Gehenna. You're going to go to Gehenna. You get the idea. It's always Rabbeim from his entire life. You're going to Gehenna. Okay, fine. And this is MDY magnet on some old car in New York, historical car. All right, so we'll get into it. The koilel is sponsored. May we always be able to support Torah. May the Torah protect us from any harm. The Masechta in Zgul Katorah Tomechia Kiyakov Vi'al. The Paras HaChodesh Li Nishmas Zechrya ben Moshe Li Nishmas b'tzlאל ben Moshe by Yענקל Cohen and Yossi Kline. A freilichen Geburtstag. How do you say birthday in English? How do you say it in English? Geburtstag. I never, as much as I learned in all these chadarim, they never did a Geburtstag then. Is it also to do? It's very also. I've never seen one in cheder. A Geburtstag, it's for Paroi, Derusha, not for us Yidin. Harav, Reb Eli, bis 120 Gäzintעrהייט. Daf Yomi, showing Jews in recovery that learning one day at a time is possible. Person sponsored the living one day at a time, like Daf Yomi. Avi Sherman, on the occasion of Tesvav of Kislev, Reb Eli's birthday, may Reb Eli be zocheh to continue spreading Torah until 120. May Reb Yosef and Reb Gershon and everyone else at MDY continue doing what they're doing to help Reb Eli succeed in doing so. May all of you be matzliach in everything that comes your way. L'zeich nishmas Peretz ben Hil Yaakov Seidowitz, who was born in the suburb of Panovich, Lithuania, and whose yahrzeit is today by his great nephew Peretz Chaim Levine. And the art is sponsored, first month, sponsored by Anonymous from Lakewood, Schus for his nieces Shiduchim. So, first of all, today, what are you showing me over there? These are all the pictures? Okay, we can look at the screen for a second. We have plenty of time today. It happens to be the shortest daf in Shas. Great idea, brother, but I appreciate this more. No. Rabbi said today is the yahrzeit of Rabbeinu HaKadosh, Rebbe. Also, he's nifter on Tesvav of Kislev. Be'ezer Hashem, I'm going to be learning his Mishnah today. And I want to, it's the day, I guess, that the Koivis jumped off the roof. Thank you. Yeah, Tesvav of Kislev. That's the Koivis' yahrzeit as well. I announced yesterday that there's a special Chumash edition for Shnai Mikra Vechor Targum. So I was speaking to Nisanel Gans last night. And as I'm talking to him, he said, 230 people signed up. And I was driving from here to Yerushalayim. And by the time I got there, it was already 350 people. So I don't know what the updated number, we might have given all 500 away. So Yishkoyach Tamarad Nakash for sponsoring, I think it cost close to $10,000, that endeavor. So Yishkoyach Gadol for giving a gift. It's mamash chesed. Chesed to give to another. Why? To encourage Torah. Unbelievable. Yishkoyach Marad. And now, Rabbi Sai, I just want to welcome the guests real quickly. Shalom Aleichem, what's your name? Matti Lizer from Lakewood. I was born in Lakewood 50 years ago today. Shkaya, thanks for coming. Your name?
Ushi Kline from Tom's River, New Jersey.
Ushi Kline. What? When you came in for the Shiur brachas like 3 years ago, you came from Tom's River. You lived in Brooklyn then. You lived in. You did the smart. Okay, Givaldik. Shalom Aleichem. Moishi. Pearl from Lakewood. Also, you know each other, b'chlal? Never met each other. Givaldik. Also representing my birth city. You was wie heißt it? Zalman Krieger from Beitar. So come more often, Tzaddik. Anybody else? Who do we have here? Somebody. Who's next to you, Tzaddik? What's your name? Schnitzel? Schlissel. Schlissel Aki. From Vannen? Huh? London. You were there? I don't remember you had to see him. You see, I know who's there. 500 people. I remember every single one. No, I'll invite. All right. Rabbi Sai, here we go. So we have to do a little bit of chazar because these are the shortest dafim. As I said, today's daf, the shortest daf in Shas, when you have two sides. This is a daf that has less words, but it's only Amud Aleph and Amud Beis. Over here you have Amud Aleph and Amud Beis, shortest daf. It also happens to be the shortest day or shortest Erev Shabbos of the year. Okay. So we had a machlokes about hefker. How does hefker work? What's the mechanism of hefker? We're used to hefker, and that's actually how we paskin. Hefker means, I say, you see this object, this computer right over here, this is hefker, and that's it. It's not mine anymore. Now I'm going to be zocheh back, because just in case I sit in front of 3 people. I have to, real quickly, I have to say the shilas of the shiur before we jump into it. So, I'm in real estate, and one of our techniques to get rid of a bad tenant is you open up the door while he's gone, and you send in 20, 30 mice and rats. And you do this day after day. Eventually the guy leaves. You put a big speaker on top of his, you go into the floor above. You do sort of. There's a way, al pi halacha, that if you have a tenant you want to get rid of, you do a certain thing. Does anybody know what it could be? The kitzer, we're going to learn about it, Be'ezer Hashem. Hefker. When you say something is hefker, how many people do you need to hear it? 0, 1, 2, 3, how many? Anybody raise your hand if you think you know. We're going to see it's basically 3 depending on the rice of the Rabbana. Now, if my partner said, I can't have enough, or he can't have enough from me, I can't have enough from him, could I go, let's say I can't have enough from him, could I go into his business? If, let's say, I'm mudar hana from somebody and he owns a store, it's another shiloh, different question. He owns a store, but he rented it out to somebody else. Could I go into that store? These are halachas we're going to learn today. So, going back to hefker. How does hefker work? Hefker means I take my object, my belonging, and I say, this is hefker, it leaves my rishos, it leaves my domain, somebody else can come and grab it. But we saw that Reb Yochanan holds that that's not what Reb Yossi holds. Reb Yochanan holds that Reb Yossi holds that it never leaves your rishus until somebody comes and claims it. So I say this object is hefker, it remains mine up until a point where somebody comes and takes it. Therefore, 3 years later I notice nobody took it, so I'll say I have charata from the hefker, I take it back. What's very interesting is we don't pass like Rabbi Yochanan. The other day we had Rav who asked a big question on Rabbi Yochanan, and that's it. Rabbi Yochanan is gone. But we spend all this time, it seems like a lot of time, because it's short amudim, explaining a havamina of Rabbi Yossi. What Rabbi Yochanan thought the pshat is in Rabbi Yossi, and that's what we're discussing. Okay. So, we had this yesterday, just to go through real quickly. We have a brisa, and the brisa had 2 parts. And it seemed like the Reisha goes like Chachamim, and the Seifa goes like Rabbi Yossi. The Reisha says, well, the first part of the Reisha is a little bit difficult to understand. Chachamim, we have to explain a little bit, but the Reisha says that a regular hefker, typical hefker, where I say this object is hefker, after 3 days, I cannot take it back. Who does that go according to? Chachamim, because Rabbi Yossi says I can take it back forever. So the blue is Chachamim. We just have to understand why for 3 days you could take it back. For 3 days, I mean, once I put it out there, for a millisecond, it's not mine anymore. How can I take it back? So that we said, Ramayim, remember the Ramai, Meiser. Okay. Special Takonis Chachamim. The Seifa, however, is talking about a different case. It's talking about a case where a person makes a special type of hefker, not your typical hefker, a very rare hefker. He says, this item, I'm leaving it outside my house for a week. Whoever comes and takes it, great, but there's a limit. This item is hefker for a year, for 7 years, but he put a limit. In that case, we say that he could have charata forever and ever. Wait a minute, Chacham hold you can't have charata forever. The only person who holds you could have charata forever, according to Reb Yochanan, is Reb Yossi. So it comes out that the beginning is Chachamim, the safe is Reb Yossi. That's a big no-no. How do you have two shittas in one brisa? So we saw the shita of Ula, that the whole thing goes according to Chachamim, and he explains it. Then we're talking about Rish Lakish. Rish Lakish says the whole thing goes according to Reb Yossi. So the last part of the brisa is perfect. Reb Yossi says you could always have charata. So if a guy made a hefker lizman, he said this is hefker for a week. He could have charata the entire week. Goes according to Reb Yossi, great. What do we do about the first part? The first part is that if a person does hefker, he cannot have charata after 3 days. But Reb Yossi says he can have charata forever. So how does it go according to Reb Yossi? So now we said, shalei tishokach, I put it there just in 2 words, shalei tishokach, torah hefker. What does that mean? That this guy is going to think in his head that he got a gift. Why? Because Reb Yossi says you could always have charata, always have charata. So in his mind he thinks, oh, since I'm holding on to it, the guy gave it to me as a gift. And a gift is chai b'meiser, right? So that's the other chart. The difference between a gift and hefker. If you acquire something from hefker, you don't have to give anything to the kliine and the levi. No trumas and meisers. But a gift, matani chai b'meiser. So now we have a case where this item is actually potter because it's hefker. In his brain, he thinks it's chayev. He thinks it's a matana. It's chayev. And then he's going to take from the chayev fruit and use it as meiser on potter fruit. And what is that called? Tevel. It's issa deraisa. Or he'll do the reverse. He'll take from the hefker fruit, from the potter, and make meiser on the chayev. He's going to make a big mishmash. So that's why we had to tell him, stop. That it doesn't last forever. Here are the 2 piles. There's a pile of potter, a pile of chayev. That was yesterday's sugya. Okay. The only question is, now why is it, according to why could he have charata for 3 days? It's only 3 days because the Ramayim. We have the Ramayim. The Ramayim, they mafkir everything they have for a minute, and then the zocheh back. So we say, you know what? Then we have to go back to the ratio. That for 3 days, in order to exclude Ramayim, they have to make hefker for 3 days. They have to say, I'm leaving this for 3 days. Because if you have charata right away, then people are gonna do this trickery. They're gonna be mafkir their nechasim, their fruit, and they're not going to pay trumas and meisers. Okay. Now, Ibai Seima. So now we're holding on the top of Memhei Amud Aleph. So Gemara asked the question. Oh, you know what? Let's go back. Let's go to Amud Beis. We have a little bit of time. Let's do it quickly. We're running out of time, but let's do it quickly. I know the people over there in Yerushalayim and whoever started volume 2 today doesn't have it, so I have it on the screen. We'll leave this on the screen for now. This is just the little bit that we're learning from Amud Beis and Amud Aleph. Okay. Meisvei. 3 lines down. We have a guy who made his whole entire vineyard hefker, and then the next day he chapped it from hefker. Chayev beperet uve'oilelos uve'shikcho bepeya. He's chayev all the matnas aniyim, the small grapes, the weaker grapes, the ones he left, the ones that are in the corner. However, upotter min meiser. He's potter from meiser. Why? If you say the pshat is that the brisa goes according to Ula, we have this over here. That the whole brisa, the duration of the sefer goes according to Ula. That what? That everything is chachamim, and chachamim hold that hefker, once it leaves your rishus, once you say the words hefker, it's gone forever. So it makes a lot of sense. Since it's gone forever, something that's real hefker doesn't have meiser. That's why there's no meiser here. The Rabbanon, it goes according to Rabbanon, Katanila. or you just take off the Daled. Rabbanan Katani La, it's Rabbanan who say it. Uderaisa Katani La. And we're talking about the real halacha in the Torah, not what Rabbanan said afterwards, and they were misaking that you have to give Maisa. You shouldn't give. It's the Deraisa. The Deraisa, you don't give Maisa and Hefker. And this goes according Elo the Rish Lakish, but if you go according to this, that the Reisha and the Seif are both Rish Lakish. And what? Rish Lakish says that the Reisha and the Seif is Reb Yossi. Reb Yossi holds that no matter what, you could always take back Hefker. As long as nobody acquired it, you put it out there in the street, nobody was zocheh it. 10 years later, you come and you take it back, you say, I didn't want to do Hefker. So what's pshat? Am I potem in a meiser? Why in this case, when a guy is mafkir his vineyard, and he could have charata forever, and nobody acquired it but himself, he himself acquired it the next morning, potem in a meiser. But it was never Hefker, Rabbi Isai. Why? Because he was mafkir it, and nobody took it. And if nobody takes it, it's not Hefker. And if it's not Hefker, you're chayiv a meiser. Am I potem in a meiser? Oh my Lord, so I'll explain to you, I only explained this on the chart over here, the ration, the sefer, that goes according to Reb Yossi. I'm not trying to fix all the brises in the world. There's another brisa that actually goes like Chachamim. Yeah. Another Reb Yossi or Rabbanani. Great. So that's what we did yesterday. Now, here we are holding today. Everything goes according to Reb Yossi, you're right. But the brisa, this brisa that we have on the chart over here, I should really get out of it so the people in Yerushalayim could see. And this is already another daf. It depends how you do hefker. If you do hefker in front of two people, then you could have charata. It's not such a strong hefker. And you can do charata within 3 days. You said it's such a strong hefker, that it's so strong that you don't have to take meiser anymore. Well, the hefker babit lasa. If you do hefker in front of 3 people, so now the whole world knows about it. It's a real hefker. And he's also concerned, there's another smart, concerned that one of the 3 people will grab it and run away with it. So it's a serious hefker. He knows that what he's doing now is real hefker because anybody could take it. Okay? So when he does hefker with 2 people, the Ran explains it's more like a matana. It's more like a gift. Here, take it. And he has, okay. But a matana has to leave his possession completely. And if it doesn't leave his possession, then it's not a good matana. But when it comes to 3 people, the Gemara says it has a koil. Apit lasa has a kol. Everybody knows about it. That's how things get around. Rumors start with 3 people. And memela, it's a real hefker. And you putter from meiser. Just talking about apit lasa reminded me, I decided to go, it was a little bit of a mistake. This morning I said, apit lasa, the famous Chofetz Chaim. It's huge. I'll spare you looking there for now. But the famous halacha of apit lasa. We have 3 people. And there's a Gemara in Bava Basra that says, that if Kol Muslim is Hammer Babit Lasa, there's no Lishna Bisha, there's no Lashon Hara on it. So, first of all, the Chofetz Chaim goes on a whole thing to say, listen, you're not allowed to say Lashon Hara in front of 3 people. That's 100% awesome. But what about if it was already said in front of 3 people? It's in the newspaper. Could you repeat that Lashon Hara? Everybody knows about it. So the Chofetz Chaim as a whole, he's on a campaign to say, you can't say Lashon Hara even if you heard it, even if 3 people heard it. He goes on to say, I'll just say real quickly. He says, number 1, you're not allowed to have kavana when you talk the Lashon Hara, even if many people know. You're not allowed to have kavana to hurt the person he's talking about. You can't say, he's such a bad guy, everybody knows about it, but I want you to know all. You can't say it for that. So that kavana ruins everybody's Lashon Hara anyway. Second of all, he's you have to make sure that one of the people that heard it, let's say the Lashon Hara is said in front of 3 people. What if one of the people has Yiras Shamayim and he doesn't talk Lashon Hara? So now you don't have this idea of Apit Lasa. The whole idea of Apit Lasa is that all 3 are going to go out and spread it. But let's say one of the 3 is not a spreader, he's the Chofetz Chaim himself, he doesn't talk Lashon Hara. So now you're down to 2. So you don't have Apit Lasa. So you got to be careful. You want to do Avid Lasa, you have to make sure that the type of people that talk Lashon Hara. Okay, good luck. Then he says, only if it's in that city. I don't know how it works today with WhatsApp and everything. If the guy that's saying the Lashon Hara in front of 3 people said, please don't say the secret, so you're not allowed to say the secret. You're not allowed to add any nice, juicy details. If you know that one of the 3 people is one of these kind of schmoozers, and you know he's going to add details, so you're over on the Iver, so you shouldn't say it for that reason. The Chofetz Chaim says, I don't even know if we paskin like this halacha that Abit Lasa is you could say Lashon Hara with Abit Lasa. Kitzer, he's trying to convince us, don't use Abit Lasa as an excuse. Very, very hard. And he says, okay, great. That's Abit Lasa and Lashon Hara. Says the Gemara, if you do hefker in front of 3 people, you cannot take it back. You can't regret it. It's a real strong hefker. But if you do hefker in front of 2, then it's a hefker, but it's not a strong hefker. You could have charat. Reb Shimon Levi Omar Dvar Torah. Afilu be'echad have a hefker. You cannot have charata even if you do hefker in front of 1 person. So why is there a concept that you have to do hefker in front of 3 people? It's good for you to have 2 witnesses so that the guy that was mafkir it doesn't take it back. Okay, fine. So that's as far as before that. If it's in front of 3 people, then he's more concerned that one of the guys might chop it, and then he does it for real. Okay, it'll be a real hefker. Now, the Rishonim ask a question here, just saying there's not a lot of ran here even. It's mamish a short Amud. But the Rishonim ask, we had the Mishnah. You have 2 friends walking in a desert. And one of them doesn't have food, so the guy that doesn't have food, he could take the other friend's food off a rock. His friend puts his food on the rock and says it's hefker. No, how many people were in that case listening to the hefker? Only 1. How's it work? Rabbanan said, we just learned, Rabbanan said you should do hefker in front of 3 people. Gershon, how does hefker work on WhatsApp? WhatsApp is 3 people? Bless Brera during COVID, you can do it on WhatsApp, he paskin. Okay. We got to ask Rabbi Pessin how it works. Do you have to take it back or you don't take it? Okay, fine. I'll go about him. The Rishonim ask. It says here in the Gemara, you need 3 people to do hefker. How do you do it? So, what's the obvious answer? Because we're talking about a case where the guy is starving. The guy is starving, Chachamim war matir. But Tosfos says that this whole concept that you need 3 people by hefker is only by karka, but by kalim, for tvilas kalim and stuff like that, and food, you don't need 3 people. As is Tosfos. Okay. Hadran halach ein bein amudor, hadran halach ein bein amudor, hadran halach ein bein amudor. Now we're turning to Daf Yomi Beis. Surprise, only 4 lines. Zocheh, they will all have the schus to never give up, stay positive, and keep going forward. Oh, I have to get the sponsor. It'll take some time here. I did it on Dafka. I have to look slowly. Where's the sponsor for the Mishnah? Wow. It's been a while. Oh, here we go. No. I don't know where it is. No. Something else. Oh. It's already here. I just wasted 10 seconds. Okay. Now we should all have the schus. No, that's the turning it. Oh, I messed up. That's for the Mishnah. Great. Now, here, turning the daf is by Ya'nkel Cohen, the official MDY MSP. He also sponsored today for my birthday, Ya'nkel Cohen, with being able to support Limud Torah and to finish shots with the Reb Eli. You know what? I just realized something. Yossi Klein told me last night that Ya'nkel Cohen from the official MDY MSP asked Yossi Klein for his business, for MDY's business. He does credit card processing. So what did Yossi Klein tell him? I'll give it to you on condition that you join the daf. So the poor guy, Nebuch, he had to join the daf. He said, okay, I'll join. And I got addicted. So all the money that he ever made from us, he gave us back 10 times over because he does the sponsor. He did already $5,000 in turning of the daf. He just did another $180 of this. So this geleint. But it's very much geleint. It changed his life. Yeah, Vada. What, Yosef? What? Don't do any business with Yossi Klein or MDY. Yeah. You always... In mitzvahs you'll gain, in money you'll always lose. Okay. So, Zok the Mishnah. Hashutvin shenodru hanozem izeh. Very simple. You have a shutav, you have two partners who each partner said, I'm not going to benefit from you. I don't want to have anything to do with you. I don't want to benefit from you. Now, it's a case of, it's a little funny case, not like we're used to. Usually it's the mother and the mother. I just took these guys from the Malv and the Loiva, but because I already had it. Usually the guy that's the mother, the guy with the car, he says, I can't give you. I'm upset at you. So I don't want you to benefit from me. Over here, the arrow is going the opposite way. He's saying, I'm not going to take from you. Okay? You're a great partner. You did so much for me. I don't want to benefit from you. Okay. So they have a chotzer. Stam, I grabbed a picture from Eruvin, the Shmaka Mesachta. You have two houses, Reuven and Shimon, and they have a chotzer. Chotzer is the front yard. They share it. Now, what's very interesting about this Mishnah is we need these three things here. Okay? Vitur, hopefully we know what Vitur is, but we'll go over it real quickly. Vitur means a very insignificant thing that nobody cares about. No one in the right mind cares whether you walk into his front yard. Nobody cares. A lot of crazy people walk through my front yard. I don't care. I'm not going to tell the mailman you could and he can't. Nobody cares. But when it comes to a neder, we say even Vitur is asur according to Reb Eli. Even the smallest insignificant amount, you can have enough. I said you can't have enough for me. You can't have enough for me. Even though in a typical, I don't even care who comes. People come and they go. I never cared. Today I have to care because you're mudah enough for me. Okay, so we have to go with that. We also have to go with a machlokes of yesh breira or ein breira. Okay, if you're part of the shiur, this is the easiest of the easy. And if you're not, yesh breira. Very, very simple idea of, I like the way the article says it, I have no better way to say it, retroactive clarification. You go to the mafreya, and you say, this is what was going to happen. So let's say, two sons inherit a Yerusha, so it's everybody's. And then when Bezdin says, you get the right, and he gets the left, it was retroactively clarified. Then we know that when the father died, the moment the father died, Reuven got the right, and Shimon got the left. It took 6 years in court, but retroactively, that's what we figured out. That's exactly what the Yerusha was supposed to be. That's retroactive. Over here also, we have a shayla and a machlokes, whether or not yesh breira or ein breira. So over here we have two types of breira. Over here, we're talking about shutvim. What does a shutv own? It's a beautiful sugya of partnership, right? Your partner. What do you own? From every store that you own with Gili, what do you own? 100% of everything, or 50%, and it's this way and it's that way? How do you own it? So we're going to learn a lot about that today. If you say yesh breira, then it comes out that I have this half, this 50%, you have this half. I could force a sale. Look, you're mudah enough for me. You're not allowing me to come into my own property. So I'm forcing a sale. You buy me out, whatever. We're forcing a sale. But over here, we have to go to the third thing on the list. Ein ba din chaluka. Okay, I didn't have enough room for din. There's not enough property to split and divide. What, I should get 2 feet and you 2 feet? You can't divide a property like that. Let's say it's less than 4 amas, whatever the shiur is. Let's call it 4 amas. I can't get 2 and you get 2. I can't force you to sell something and ruin it for everybody. Let's say it's, a swimming pool. We're going to divide it in the middle, then you have nothing. You have a chasen hall. Divide it in the middle, so you don't have a chasen hall anymore. You have 2 tiny rooms. Certain things don't have chalukah. So if they don't have chalukah, how do you do breira? How do you do retroactive clarification? On the time. In other words, when I walk in and I use my front yard, I use my wedding hall, then it's mizgala, becomes retroactive, that it's mine, that half hour. What time is it? 7:54 when Yosef is leaving. That's the time that it's mine. Every minute that you're here is great because we don't have you the whole week. Shkoyach. I hope you're not going to play basketball though. Anyway, so when I go in at 7:54, it's mine. My shutov goes in at 7:54, it's also his. He goes in 9 o'clock, it's his. Shabbos afternoon, it's his. Sunday morning, whenever we go in and we use it, then we're mevarer that it's mine for that minute. Okay, so now let's see inside. Now that we know that, again, vitur, I cannot give in to my shutuf 1 ounce, not even something that's worthless. Just for him coming in, I can't do that. Great. The other thing is, it's a machlokes whether or not I could retroactively decide who has what. And also we're talking about a chatzar that you cannot divide. Great. They're asur to go into the chatzar. Says the Tanakama. Reb Eli Yaakov says, each one could go in because he holds yesh breira. He holds yesh breira, and I can decide. I just went into my own allotted time. 7:55 is my time. That's when I went in, and that's mine 100%. So if it's mine 100%, I'm not having enough from you. Yes, I'm not allowed to have enough from you, but I didn't have enough from you. I'm allowed to go into my house. It's my house 100%. Why is it my house 100%? Because I just walked into it. And if I walk into it, I retroactively, Lemafreya decided it's mine for that hour. But if you're sharing it 50-50, so now I'm using 50% of yours, that's a problem. Ein breira, Chacham hold ein breira. I can't divide the property. Every time I walk in, I'm using 50% of yours, and you're using 50% of mine. I can't do that, because I'm mudahana from you. Memela, don't go in there, say Chachamim. Now, so the Ran explains there a beautiful thing in Shutfus. It's very important to know this idea. The Ran says, how could you, my Shutf, answer me from going into my own property? It doesn't make any sense. It's mine. I want to go in there. We touched upon it a little bit, but to explain it nicely. He says like this, it's impossible to say that each shutf has 100%. Can't do that. It's a shutfus, it's a partnership. How do I have 100% if you're my partner? Obviously, you have some and I have some. So says the Ran, how does it work? The way a partnership works is very important to know this. The way a partnership works is, I have 50 and you have 50. But you have a shibud to me to allow me to use your 50. I have a lien on you. You hear how partnership works? I have 50, you have 50. But because we have a partnership, I could force you to allow me to use it. I have a lien, a shibud. But guess what? Look at this chart over here. There are 3 things in this world that cancel a shibud and a lien. Hegdish, chametz, and shichr. Releasing your slave. If you have a shibud on a slave, mshachrim, boom, the lien goes away. Hegdish. So listen to this. Remember I asked you, how do you get rid of your tenant without rats and noise at night? I say that my apartment is hegdish to him. Oh, hegdish, that's it, he can't use it. He has a lease, we signed a rental agreement, and I have a shibud, I have a chiyuv to allow him to be in the apartment, but hegdish overcomes any lien. So if I make it hegdish, bam, he's out. The Ran says that, not me. He says it in here. So Mela, I am allowed to use your 50%. Why? Because I have a lien on you. But I also, by mistake, didn't realize I made it hegdish. I said, you're mudar hana for me. And that's a lashon of kainam, of hegdish. And that's it. The lien went pfeifen. So now I'm stuck with my 50% without a shibud to come in there. Ememela, it becomes asar on me. You hear? What? It's yours. It's yours. You just rented it. Okay. But no, that's not. You have a Bible story. Why not? Why not? You could sell it. You do this. No, you do different things. If you could sell it, why can't you? But according to Reb Eli Yaakov, that says yesh breira. So Mela, it's yours 100%. It's yours 100%. You can't. You're mutter to go in. Okay. Now, I was very worried that we're going to finish 10 minutes early and I can't even finish this. The Rishonim ask, A very simple question. We paskin like Reb Eli Yaakov throughout Shas. Almost all the time we had the other sugya that sometimes, but Reb Eli Yaakov, kavanaki. His torah is perfect. He went through it very well. But especially we say in our sugya that Allah is like Reb Eli Yaakov. Reb Eli Yaakov, you could go in. Why? Yesh breira. Guess what? We paskin somewhere else that ain't breira. What are you gonna do? Over here, paskin like Yesh breira, like Reb Eli Yaakov, and the whole reason is because Yesh breira. We passing somewhere else that ain't breira. What do we do? So Rabbi Tam says over here real quick, I'm just telling you this whole giant rant so you don't have to go through it. I was going to threaten everybody and start reading it. Fine. Rabbi Tam says, by the way, the rant flows very, very easy rishon. It's not like Taisus. It's much, much easier. It just flies. But Rabbi Tam paskins, he says like this. We paskin like Reb Eli Yaakov, not because of breira, but because of a different thing. Because vitur is mutter. This also gives vitur is aser. No, we pass Vita's mutter. But all the Rishonim yell, how's it possible? We always talk about Vita's Zasa, now all of a sudden Vita's mutter. Over here he brings Rabbeinu Moshe, which means the Ramban. Fine, another pshat. The Ran says, very interesting. The Ran says the pshat is that all over the Torah, when we talk about breira, just because I like this Ran because it explains a little bit about breira. What's a classic example, says the Ran, of breira? A guy goes to the Sefer, and he has two wives. They're both called Rachel. He tells the Sefer, write me a get for Rachel, the wife of Moshe. But which one? I'll decide later. So at the time of the writing of the get, no one had an idea who the get is for. Not the husband, not the Sefer. And then he goes and gives her the get. He says, oh, retroactive clarification that we wrote it for you. Okay, there's a lot of unknowns. And then you try to make it known. But over here, says the Ran, over here there's a lot of knowns. 90% we know. We know that we're shutfim. We know that I own 50, you own 50. Exactly at what point and what time of the day I could use it, and this and that we don't have. So that's a much lighter breira. That's not your typical breira of all shas. And therefore over here we hold yesh breira. Even over here. We pass an aim breira. But in this case, since we know a lot of information, it's not your typical case, we'll say yesh breira. Rabbi Sai, have a wonderful day. Oh, Motsei Shabbos, a little later than usual because I'm going to be in Yerushalayim.
Could you actually make sure someone sets it up here this week?
Gary's going to be here. Whoever's going to, he's not coming with me. No, this you're going to be here, Gary, Beis Hashem? Yes. So what? 8:10, Motsei Shabbos. I can get back here on time. 8:10, which really means 8:20. Shkoyach, Shalom Aleichem.